Hello everybody, we're so excited about this Green Bay event, one of our favorite places to fish. I want to talk about tackle, what you will need. We're going to be doing two things. We're going to be jigging and we're going to be trolling. Let's talk about jigging first. So whether you're a boater or a non-boater, you need a rod to jig with. So this one here is I knew this was going to happen. I should have just left them on. This is my St. Croix Legend. It's a 6'10" medium light extra fast, and that's just kind of the rod that I like. I like medium light extra fast. So I have 20-pound Suffix 323 braid on it. And then I have a 12-pound Seaguar Blue Label leader on it. And I have that tied in a line knot. So if you don't know how to do a line-to-line knot, what you do, there's an easy one called the Alberto knot. You, oh, look at there. You take a screenshot of it on your phone and then save it in your, and then if you ever need to look at it in the boat or wherever, you got it. So then I'm just putting a little snap here and then a bait. Now the baits that we're going to be using are, this is a Clam Outdoors Tikka minnow. You can see they come in a variety of colors. This is beaver lures, same similar thing. I think the old Rapala, what's that Rapala one called? Jig and Wrap. That's kind of a good one. These are Echo Tails, and those do really well. And then of course the Rapala Rip and Wrap. These are really popular things. And what we do when we find a school of fish, you know, and we want to stop trolling and we're going to start jigging for them, or if we're going to fish a specific area of structure like a reef or something. So you just put one of these out, and you know, each has a different technique. You know, you kind of cast out, kind of snap it back, and we're going to talk to you about technique. I just wanted to tell you what to shop for as far as tackle. So some type of jigging bait like an Echo Tail, a Rip and Wrap, one of these Clam Tikka minnows. You can also use jigs and plastics. There's a lot of variety of plastics out there. Here's the jigs, I didn't put the plastics out. So for your rod and reel combo, this is what we're going to be working with. Everyone just has to have one of these in the boat. No sense filling the boat up, but if everyone has one rod to jig with, that would be awesome. So that's your jigging rod and your jigging bait. Now let's talk a little bit about trolling. So when we're trolling, and this is where we're not sure. I mean, we're bringing extra planer boards and some extra stuff for people to borrow. But if you are a non-boater and you have trolling rods, please bring them, and baits and stuff. And planer boards, anything to do with trolling, even if you don't have a boat, we suggest you bring those items, because not all boat owners have a complete set of trolling rods. Now in Wisconsin, you're allowed 3 lines per person in the boat. So if there's 2 people in a boat, you can pull 6 lines if you're trolling. That's a lot. I can understand if you don't want to do that, but we're going to help you experiment to be able to pull more lines, because that's one of the benefits of trolling. You can experiment with different depths and cover a lot more water. So the baits that work well for trolling out there are, these are flicker minnows, and these were very popular last year. We just kind of slammed the fish last year on this particular color pattern. This is a Fleet Farm exclusive color, so you have to get this color at Fleet Farm, and they have a bunch of them. We just stopped in the Green Bay area. They have a bunch around there. And when you look at these, every time you open this package, inside of it is a dive chart. So you are going to be able to see, now this is for a flicker minnow number 7. So if you have this back 50 feet, it's going to go 10 feet down. So that is your reference point that you are going to use whenever you are trolling. You need to know exactly where that bait is in the water column. So you need a reference manual, and it's in every package. Now I have an app on my phone that has all the baits in it.
Explain what that means, 50 feet back.
Well, we're going to go here to the trolling rod, and one of the things about trolling rods is this is a standard trolling rod. Now this is actually a rod designed by Paul Coote Williams, who is joining us this weekend, and he sells these. Some of these are telescoping, some are not. But anytime you get a trolling rod, those are made for the reel to go on the top, whereas a spinning rod, the reel goes on the bottom. So the big thing about the trolling rod combo is the reel. Now here's a line counter that, right now it says 0. And we put 10-pound Trilene XL line on that. That's what you put on your walleye trolling rods. And the reason you use this line, it's XT, it's extra tough, so when you're clipping the boards on and off, it holds up better. This isn't a line that you want to cast per se. This is a trolling line because it's kind of heavier. So all these dive charts are based on this line. The line diameter is determined, on how they dive. And the charts are based on this. So that's why most people use 10-pound XT on their trolling line. So that's what's reeled on here. On the end, I just have a little snap. Just a little snap. You don't need a big swivel or anything, just that little snap. And so when I start trolling, I'm going to have the bait reeled all the way up to the tip of the rod. I'm going to reset this, and as I let line out, this counter is going to count. So based on what I saw on the pamphlet, if I go 50 feet back, this is going to say 50, and then I know the bait's going to be 10 feet down. So obviously, if you're trolling in 6 feet of water, you don't want the bait 10 feet down, So we're going to talk about those details, but if you have trolling rods, or if you're picking any up or borrowing any, you want to get this Trilene XT line spooled on them, and then just get some of these little clips. So the other thing we're going to be doing, besides trolling with a variety of crankbaits, so these are flicker minnows. Flicker shads is a really good bait, and it's really inexpensive. These are some inexpensive baits. Stand by, let me get my flicker shad box. Lots of baits, lots of baits. Here we go. So, having a variety of baits allows you to fish a variety of the water column. So these are all flicker shads. Some of the best colors from Green Bay was this one. This is a Cabela's signature brand, but the purples work good. Purple and pink tend to work good on Green Bay. And then, a lot of times we'll put a variety of different baits on and see which one works. I know some guys one time that I was tournament fishing against, and they were using white, and they won the tournament. White happened to be the color that day. So You want to start out using a variety of baits, covering a variety of the water column, but that is all stuff that you have to know and keep track of, so if it's successful, you know how to repeat it. So these are Berkley flicker shads. It's a relatively inexpensive bait, a lot cheaper than the Rapala shad wraps. So then, when we're trolling deeper water, which we're not going to be doing this weekend, a lot of these reef runners, husky jerks, these are much deeper diving baits. As the season moves on, these fish will be moving out deeper, and that's what we'll be that's when we'll be using those. And these are the flicker minnows. I mean, this is notice the minnow profile is a little bit different than the shad profile. These are both by Berkley, but see, these have a thicker shad body. These are more slender, more like a minnow. And again, you can see this one from last year on Green Bay, all the teeth marks in it. That's just got the, when it's sunny out, I like this silver and chrome. A lot of times the water clarity will vary. Sometimes it's super clear, sometimes it's super cloudy. We'll talk more about that. So flicker shads and flicker minnows are two trolling baits every troller should have. Now, as we get into this time of the year, we're actually probably going to be switching over from a crankbait bite to a crawler harness bite. So how we troll with the crawler harnesses are two ways. You can hook just a regular crawler harness, and everyone who's attending will get some type of crawler harness. And you can hook that right on the trolling line with a 1 ounce inline weight. This is a 1 ounce inline bead weight. So you just hook this to your snap on the end of your trolling line. Then you hook the crawler harness right to this. And the reason you want to use a 1 ounce inline weight is because it makes it easier to do the math. So if you have it 20 feet back, the bait will go 10 feet down. So that's why 1 ounce is a good reference point. So you can use variations, we'll talk about that, but 1 ounce inline weights are good to have with crawler harnesses to use with the trolling rods. So another way to fish crawler harnesses are with these bottom bouncers. So this bounces along the bottom, you put the crawler harness up here. And this will put off the back of the boat just till it hits the bottom, and then you want that line at a 45-degree angle when you're trolling, and with crawler harnesses it's about 1 mile an hour. So you go a little slower, and there's so many variations and tricks, information we're going to teach you. But if you're out shopping for a few things, we're just kind of showing you kind of the staples of trolling on Green Bay with both crawler harness setup and jig rods. Now when you're picking out crawler harnesses, these purple and pink beads, these are the ones that oftentimes do well. You can experiment. A lot of these have little clevises on them, so you can change the blade on it if you find you get dialed into a certain color. That's why having some extra blades is always a good idea. Sometimes a gold back, or that, it's a rough edge, not a smooth. You just don't know, just because it's fishing. So having a variety of little blades, and then you can just switch out without having to. I knew a guy once that did really well in a tournament using one of these old-fashioned ones, and everyone's using all the fancy hand-painted ones, and he's cleaning house on the. There's so many variations of this. You can spool them up on one of these little noodles. It's just kind of even these come in such a variety of colors. You don't have to have a bunch of stuff. But if you're going to buy a few things you might as well buy what we know works. Purples, pinks, the flicker shad, the flicker minnow, and when you take them out of the package to store them in your bin, make sure you save this. You know, you need this dive chart.
Or at least take a picture of it
yeah.
and save that on your phone.
Yep, and if you have other baits and you want to troll with them, just at home, Google dive chart for a Hottentot or a scatter wrap or whatever you got that you want to try. You just have to know how deep it's going to go. So this is going to conclude our basic gear tackle. You know, like I said, if you have trolling stuff, even if you're not bringing a boat, please bring it. We're going to have a seminar Thursday night, depending on the time. We're waiting for our little survey video to get feedback on. And we're going to end this video now. And the next video we're going to do is one about how to set up your boat for the people that are taking their boats to this event.